Public interest in true crime and the dark side of human nature is something which goes back as long as humanity has been documenting life, allowing people to explore the dark side of the world from the comfort of their homes and deepening our understanding of the human psyche. There's an undeniable allure to true crime. But when adapting a true crime story for the screen, there's a fine line between respecting the victims and their families and creating a story that will capture our attention. I'm Georgia Marie, and I have an educational channel here on YouTube where I share historical stories and unsolved true crime cases that more people should know about. And here are just a handful of stories included with Prime Video that have done justice to the stories they were based on. First up, let's talk about Hustlers, a crime drama boasting a fantastic cast fronted by none other than Jennifer Lopez. Based on a feature in New York Magazine, the hustlers in question are a string of financially struggling strippers who don't just rip off their clothes. J-Lo plays Ramona, a fur coat wearing firecracker fed up of handing over her hard-earned money. She concocts a plan to start spiking her clientele's drinks and run up their credit cards at clubs where they'd arrange to take a cut.
You want them drunk enough to get their credit card, but sober enough to sign a check.
But when some men start to realize what's happening...
Can you please just credit back my debit card? My mortgage payment's on there.
It's not long before the authorities are onto them. It's fun, feminist, and fearless. You begin to forget that it's criminal and you find yourself almost rooting for these women whose lives are as hard as their choices are limited. And rightfully, it's a male gaze-free zone. This is a movie made by a woman, about women, featuring a strong cast of women. My favourite part of the story is a relationship between Destiny, played by Constance Wu, and her grandmother.
You take such good care of me.
Although you might not agree with the crime, you can understand how Destiny arrived at this moment.
Climb in my fur. Okay. Freeze out here.
I know.
From strippers to serial killers, Zodiac is one of my favourite movies of all time, featuring an incredible cast of actors and a feeling of suspense that made my partner refuse to take the bins out at night after I made her watch it for the first time. Director David Fincher reimagines the story of the Zodiac, an unknown serial killer who terrorised Northern California in the late 60s and early 70s. He has 5 confirmed victims and claims to have killed more in a number of mysterious letters sent to the police and local media.
I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all.
Some of these letters contain ciphers, some that have been solved and some that remain a mystery. To this day, we don't have any answers as to who the Zodiac was, although investigators have their suspects, and so does this film. It explores these theories but revels in ambiguity, leaving you to make up your own mind about who was behind these grisly murders. My own theory as to who the Zodiac was changes every time I dive back into the case, but in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a name that was never even speculated about. A random person who flew under the radar amidst all of the public suspects. We do know the perpetrator in our next crime film though. All Good Things is loosely based on the life and crimes of Robert Durst, who has long been suspected of murdering his wife and 18 years later, their close friend. Ryan Gosling plays Durst's double David Marks, a real estate heir and a bit of an oddball, whose wife Katie, played by Kirsten Dunst, eventually goes missing. Whilst Durst has never been charged for these murders, he now stands trial because of evidence brought to light from this film.
Did you kill your best friend, Deborah Lerman?
All Good Things is a slow-burning psychological thriller that satisfied my preference for dark and eerie storytelling, and it's all the scarier when you remember the true story it's based on. The real-life story of Matthew Shepard is something I think about often. There are certain tales that just stick with you in life, and Matthew's is mine. He was a gay student at the University of Wyoming who was brutally beaten, tied to a fence, and left for dead in 1998. It's a story I can barely even think about without crying, and this retelling is truly heartbreaking from beginning to end. The film focuses on Matthew's parents, played by Stockard Channing and Sam Waterston, and their fight for justice following Matthew's death.
Left him out there to die by himself.
The acting is incredible and the story is told with real compassion. Although not a horror movie, this is possibly the most terrifying movie that I've selected. A potent reminder that hate crimes have lasting consequences. And now for the only British true crime story on my list, but what a story it is. Legend is so incredible and intense that it stayed with me ever since I first saw it. If you're from the UK, chances are that you've probably heard of the Cray twins, Ronnie and Reggie. Gangsters who were pretty much the face of organised crime in London throughout the 50s and 60s.
Esmeralda's barn made money like a dream. £2,000 a week, pure profit. He was becoming a celebrity himself.
In Legend, Tom Hardy plays both of the twins at the height of their reign, and he does a fantastic job. It really takes a special kind of actor to play two characters who are so similar, but each have their own personalities. This movie is a slick and fast-paced window into the underworld of East London, and though their lives are glamorous, their crimes aren't. Ronnie and Reggie were hardened criminals, and this movie portrays that well.
Criminal! Hey! Where are you going?
You can learn so much about the world, from the scandalous to the senseless, through watching movies and TV shows. Some leave little to the imagination, and others let you decide what the true crime is. All of these films are included with Prime Video. Which one has intrigued you the most? Let us know in the comments below and hit subscribe for more awesome recommendations like mine.